Hey guys, welcome back to The Leverage Advantage. Today we're very humbled, very grateful, and very honored to have Sally Forrest with us. Now, Sally established SoulCentre Academy in 2004 with Vikas Malkani. She's an author, much sought after inspirational speaker, and a mentor to women all over the world. She's also a certified franchise executive and has a business background in an MNC in the UK. Some of you might have heard of it. It's called Boots. She chooses to give back to others through her success by opening an orphanage in Thailand. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sally.
You're welcome. It's great to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me.
Sally, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and really how you got there.
Sure, yeah. So I'm originally from the UK. I'm living in Singapore now, but originally I'm from the UK. And I was born into a very small village in the north of the UK called Ray, which is very near the Lake District. And it's a tiny village with only 2 streets. So I'm from a very large family. There are 5 daughters. And we were sort of brought up with not a lot of wealth, but we were, at a young age, we were given the idea that, you have to fend for yourself, get a good education, get yourself a great job and, stand on your own 2 feet. So that's what I did. I started learning studying very well at school, and eventually I became a pharmacist, and I started working for this company called Boots, which is a very big pharmaceutical company in the UK. And I went on their fast track management system, and every year, every 18 months, they were promoting me, and I'd move location, I'd move branch, and I'd go higher and higher up there, the hierarchy, until eventually Boots decided, totally out of the blue, that they were going to open in Asia. And they asked me to be part of the team to go and open the stores in Thailand, which was a great opportunity and something that, of course, I said yes to, because I always say yes to these great opportunities. And that was my first experience really coming out of the UK and into Asia. And we opened 70 stores in 3 years. So it was very fast paced, very exciting, giving people jobs, giving people great opportunities. But then after 3 years, and this is what happens to a lot of expats, Boots said, look, you've done a great job in Thailand, but we actually want you to come back to England. And I was thinking, I really love Asia, but I want to stay in Asia. But they said, no, we want you back in the UK. And we want you to work on downsizing the company, downsizing the head office. So this meant you went from giving people jobs and giving people an opportunity to suddenly going back to the UK and making people redundant. Downsizing literally means you're making people redundant. So this was one of those turning points in my life where I just knew, even though I was starting to do that job because my work permit depended on it, I just knew I wasn't following my heart. I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being authentic, because every morning, I'd wake up and I'd go and meet people and I'd talk to them about being made redundant. And I realized that people had given everything to their life and suddenly they were just a number and they were got rid of. And so after 18 years in very senior management, one morning I woke up and I thought, this is not for me anymore. And I just had the courage to quit. And, all of my friends, all of my family thought I was a bit crazy. And, you're such a career girl. And why are you giving up this great job? And why are you giving up this great opportunity? But I just knew I wasn't being authentic. I knew I wasn't following my heart. And I knew this wasn't the life for me. So, it was one of those moments I quit, and then I decided I was going to take myself back to Asia, which I did. And I'd always had the passion to give back to Asia. And this is when I decided to do the work and open an orphanage in Chiang Mai. So that was in 2003. And I brought myself back to Asia. And I haven't looked back since.
Tell us a little bit about that transition, though. It must have been really scary, wasn't it? Like to leave a pretty cushy job to
absolutely
come to Asia and start your own business, really.
Yeah, because when you're senior management, I had 400 staff, and I was running a multi-million-dollar business, and particularly when I was in Thailand, when I gave my business card, the doors would just open. Everybody wanted to meet you. Everybody wanted to network with you because they saw you as a mover and a shaker. And then, once I gave that up and I'd talked to people about, I'm going to start an orphanage, it was almost like, who is this woman? She's got no status, no, nothing that we can get from her. So it was a really big transition. And it made me realize that people judge you for all the external things of life. So it gave me a lot of courage and a lot of confidence to really just show the world who I am as a person and not be too concerned about all these external trappings that everybody gets, hung up on. Because, I gave up the BMW, I gave up the big job, I gave up the house, and I brought myself back to Asia, and I actually spent 6 months working in and to open this orphanage with the hill tribes where people had nothing. And, that was one of those moments where it really took me on this journey to understand the mind and the body, because in the West, as soon as you fall sick, you reach for a medicine and you heal yourself with medicine. But here I was with the hill tribes, and they were falling sick, and people were just doing, turning to grasses and herbs and healing themselves. So it took me on this whole journey to understand the mind body. And why is it that in the West we're so conditioned to take external medicine, and yet here we are in Asia and people are trying alternative healing? So that was a big awakening for me, because that took me then on this whole journey to understand meditation and Reiki and the mind and Chinese metaphysics and all the unusual things that I started to learn.
Awesome. Now you mentioned Reiki, and I know that's something that you do a lot these days.
Yeah.
That's where your business, your current business surrounds itself around Reiki. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so our business has got a few pillars, but the two main pillars are meditation, which is all about understanding the mind, and Reiki, which is about healing yourself. So your body can give you signals. So I believe that as soon as you fall sick, your body has moved out of ease. And that's why we have this thing called dis-ease. You move away from harmony, you move away from ease, and your body gives you a symptom. So with Reiki, what I do is I explain to people, what is the emotion behind your illness? Why is it that you're attracting this illness into your life? And how is it that you as an individual can heal yourself? Because if the body knows how to become sick, then the body knows how to heal itself as well. It's just the reverse mechanism. So I do a lot of work with people on that. We do a lot of work on understanding emotions, thoughts, and how our thinking leads to emotions, how our emotions lead to actions, how our body senses, what's going on, and how the body gives you signals that things aren't in balance.
And like you mentioned earlier on, before we started taping, that we talk about the healing, you talk about the meditation, and there's a whole holistic system that you mentioned called the life success method.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I believe that every person is an individual person, and that everybody deserves and desires a life that they want to live. It's individual to you. It's not preconditioned. It's not what we've been taught to live like. And most of us are conditioned. We're told, get a job, get married, have kids, do this, and that's what we're all doing. Everybody's doing exactly the same thing. But my view is that everybody is an individual. So the life success method, I work very much with people on an individual level and understand what skill set do you come with, what is it you want from your life, and how are we going to get you on that path to achieving that? So we work through a lot of things like on Chinese metaphysics, meditation, Reiki, all of the alternative healings. We combine the best of everything, and we help people really see what they're good at, what their focus should be, and what path they should walk. So, for example, I've had clients who were bankers, who were unhappy, and they're now photographers, and they're really happy. I've had people that didn't have a job. They gave up their job because maybe they had kids, and they know that whilst that's rewarding, it's not what they want to do with their life. And now, they've started their own small business and they're really happy. So it's trying to find individual balance for everybody as to what is it you really want from life, what is it you desire, and what is it you deserve for your life.
It sounds like a lot of it revolves around mental and emotional peace, being at ease, like you said, at ease with yourself, and so your emotions are, you're at peace, and so your body is able to handle that. And I think I'm a huge proponent of natural healing. I haven't been to the doctor in ages, actually. I haven't been to the doctor maybe in 10 years.
Fantastic.
Because I truly believe that Western medicine really just solves the symptoms. It doesn't go to the root of the disease. And I also believe in the body's ability to heal itself.
Yeah.
How are we able to win over some of the I would say the skeptics? Because like I said, I'm a full believer, but I think there are a lot of people that are still a little bit skeptical about it.
Yeah. But, you know, my view is when the person is ready, they will come. And I don't believe you have to go around persuading everybody to eat your food, yeah? You know, it's like if you go to a buffet, everybody will choose different things from a buffet. So what I'm offering, people will want and they'll enjoy it, but I won't force my food on anybody else, because I think, you know, then it's all about me having an ego wanting to heal everybody else. But actually the client has to come to me wanting to meet me, wanting to work with me, wanting to experience it. You know, and at SoulCentre we've had over 5,000 students. So, you know, we do deal with people from all walks of life. We always have fantastic results, and usually it's word of mouth. So one person comes, then she'll bring a husband, then the husband will bring the children, then the kids will bring their grandma, and you know, it just spreads like that. You know, everybody, I think once people see a change in the person, then that change is evidence that, you know, what we do is working.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit more about SoulCentre.
So SoulCentre, we established it in 2004. I work with Vikas Malkani, and now we have a lot of our own teachers. So we bring out the best in everybody. You know, we inspire people, we educate them, we empower people, and we teach them about, you know, transformation, enlightenment, all of these things that people want to ultimately achieve. You know, everybody wants success, everybody wants significance, everybody wants to leave a legacy behind. And that's what we do at SoulCentre. These are the pillars that we work on. And, you know, we have opportunities where people can become teachers with us. People can take our brand and they can take it globally. They can take it internationally. And we have a brand for adults, but we also have a great brand for children called Soul Kids, which is about self-confidence and self-belief for children from the age of 5.5. Because what we've realized is we work with adults, and most of us as adults, our issues stem from childhood. So, you know, somebody said something to us when we were 6, and we still carry it, even though we're like 45, 50. We still carry that feeling from what happened when we were 6. So we came up with this idea that why don't we give the children at a very young age the skills to develop self-confidence, self-belief, courage, you know, focus, individuality, authenticity. And these are the skills that we work with on children.
I love it. I love it. Tell me a little bit about what your big why is. What drives you?
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, everybody should live a life where they're just happy and joyful being themselves. I think a lot of us are conditioned, and we sort of get into this routine. You know, I call it the golden cage, where, you know, you start a job, then you have a family, then you have kids, then you have bills to pay. And you're sort of in this golden cage of comfort, but you're not happy. You know, you're not happy doing what you want with your life. So my why is to really help people find that there's more out there to life. You know, people used to say to me, you'll never make the same amount of money starting a business as you did in the corporate world. And I believed that for a while until I met Vikas. And Vikas said, but Sally, what if you make more money? And it was such a different shift in the mindset. And actually, after that day, then the money started to roll in, you know. So I say to people, look, it's all about joy. It's all about happiness. Don't keep yourself in a cage. Don't limit yourself. Have the courage to follow your heart, and then, you know, things will happen for you.
What was that change when you flicked that switch to believe that you could actually make more money in a business than you did in a job, which is actually what I believe as well.
Yeah.
You know, what changed for you?
Yeah. I think it's always about the mindset. You know, if you work from a mindset of scarcity and not thinking that there's enough in the world, then you limit yourself. But the moment you start to think, actually, all I want to do is help people and give value to people and work from that mindset and don't even think about the wealth, then the money starts to come in because you're giving such great service, you're helping people, you're providing a service that people want. So that was the difference. It was the mindset.
I love it. I'm really in awe, and I really love your mission, because I personally believe, I think most of the world is living in an illusion in terms of, you know, the priorities, the things that they value.
Yeah.
And for me, when my life completely changed when I realized that everybody was chasing money, when that's not what you should be striving towards.
Yeah.
Because I think the belief for so many people is that the more money I have, the happier I'll be.
Yeah.
That's such a false dichotomy. I think if you look at people who are, I mean, there are people who are incredibly rich that are not necessarily very happy or don't have a lot of joy. And there are people who have close to nothing and yet still have joy. So, it's such a false dichotomy.
It is. And I remember a client, and I vividly remember this client, and she came to me and she was going through depression, and we were talking about things. And she said to me, look, she was living in Australia. She said, look, Sally, I have everything I want now. I've got a child, I've got a husband, I've got all the money in the world. But, I'm so unhappy. And I said, well, tell me when you were the most happy. And she said, I was the most happy when we were backpacking and, we had knives and forks that didn't match and we were eating off, plates that were chipped. But now there's so much pressure on me to have the right tableware, to have the right napkins, to have dinner parties. She says, and this is just the life I don't want to live. And this is what people start to do, they forget when they were most happy. And often you're most happy when you haven't got all these external things that become a bind on you. It's almost like it's a burden for a lot of people. So my advice is simplify life, make life a lot simpler.
Excellent. We're coming close to the end of the show. There's just a couple of things that I'd love to ask, and I ask everybody this these days. How would you like to be remembered?
How would I like to be remembered? For a woman who followed her heart, for the woman who had the courage to follow her heart, and for the woman who had the courage to show everybody else that it's possible to do that.
Thank you so much, Sally. I'm very grateful. I'm so honored that you chose to spend your time with us, sharing your insight, and such valuable insight it is. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And my love to all your viewers.
Hey there, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, check out a relevant video here. And don't forget to subscribe to us for more marketing tips, techniques, strategies that are working for us, or just more behind the scenes fun. See ya.